is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering all day. I tried to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Osea Miles, and I am here for another episode of She Leads. Today, I am so honored and so excited for Dr. Cooper to be here to talk about self-care, to talk about wellness, and why it's important for women in leadership to have this. Dr. Cooper, thank you so much for being here with us today. Um, She Leads is a platform for women to get filled, to fill their bucket in regards to a variety of different topics. But I'm so excited that you're bringing your expertise in wellness, self-care, and how it shows up in leadership. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Really excited to talk about
This is great. So my first question to you is, when did you realize that self-care wasn't a luxury, but a leadership necessity?
Yeah. So that shift happened when I stopped viewing burnout as just being tired and started recognizing it for what the World Health Organization classifies it as. And that is an occupational phenomenon, right? And it results from chronic work stress, right? That has not been successfully managed. So think about being stressed day after day after day after day at work specifically, and not having an outlet, not having a time where you kind of bring yourself back to a neutral state, right? And so you're constantly on hyper alert. So during my 25 plus years of navigating complex nonprofit organizations and executive boardrooms, I hit a season where I was delivering high performance on paper, but operating from a deficit personally. And I realized that my ability to lead effectively and to truly inspire others was deteriorating. And because I was ignoring my own wellness. And so I learned that you cannot pour from an empty cup. And people that know me hear me say this ad nauseum. But I want people to really understand that metaphor. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? You cause more harm when you try to mentor people and inspire people when you are burnt out.
Absolutely.
So, more importantly, you cannot lead an organization to health if you're modeling disease. And that really was the catalyst for my doctoral research and the birth of the Life Blueprint that I currently a framework that I use to help organizations, that I use when I'm in my speaking engagements, and that I use on the Life podcast.
I love that you say that, because what you're saying is that it's a priority. Just like, in leadership, we have to think of time task management. We have to think of development. Self-care and wellness is also a priority up there, because leaders give so much, in front of people, externally, internally, behind the scenes, right? And that's something that self-care should be happening daily. You're right. You can't pour from an empty cup. So you know what? This goes to the next question. How do you personally define sustainability in leadership, especially as a woman who carries so many responsibilities? Because I know you have a family. I know you have your podcast. You're always busy.
We all are, right? We all are. And women specifically are always busy. So this is something that I wish people would really, men, women, children, everyone, right? Wish you would realize the amount of work that a woman puts in on a daily basis. Not that men don't work. Now let me
absolutely.
And I'm speaking from a woman's lens, right? So I don't want any man to get upset with me.
No, absolutely.
I definitely know that that men work and they work hard. But I'm specifically talking about women. We are the caretakers. We are the nurturers. We are the ones that stand in the gap whenever anything needs attention.
Absolutely.
Right? Whether it's a positive, negative, doesn't matter. So for me, I define sustainability through the lens of flourishing. So one of the core pillars of my blueprint, right? So sustainability isn't just about endurance or grit. It's about harmony. The only way to sustain anything is when you're in alignment. And so in real life, sustainable success looks like alignment across all dimensions of wellness. And there are 8 of them. So it's not just your occupational or your financial. but also your emotional, your spiritual, and your physical. And it means I'm not sacrificing my physical health to meet a fiscal goal. It means
Wow.
I'm not ignoring my spiritual grounding to achieve social status.
Mm.
True sustainability, true sustainable success is when your leadership output does not exceed your personal input.
Wow.
Which means, right, it's the ability to perform at a high level without the lingering threat of the burnout factors I help organizations mitigate, exhaustion and cynicism and employee retention. So again, if your output exceeds your input, burnout, and you're causing harm. I know a lot of people don't see it that way, but you're absolutely causing harm.
Oh man, that resonates with me. Two words that really resonate with me: alignment and harmony. It's the balance. And when most people think of it, they think of prioritizing because we've been trained to think of prioritizing. Okay. And compartmentalizing, right? Okay, my family comes here at this time. My work comes here at this time. Okay, it bleeds over. So I need to do this. You know, they say work-life harmony, right? This balance. But you're like, all of these categories have to work together in alignment. That is mind-blowing to me.
And where do you fit in? When is it Dr. Miles coming in?
Right.
So you just said my family, my work, community. You said all these things, but you didn't even mention yourself. And too often, we're thinking externally.
Right.
We're thinking about all the things we need to do.
Because that's natural. It's natural to us.
We're built that way. We're
trained
that way.
We're trained,
we're raised that way, right? Good, bad, or ugly, we are definitely raised that way. I was raised that way. You have to learn how to cook and clean so when you get married, you can take care of your family. That was it. That was it, right? Wow. So I believe that there is a transformation that needs to happen across this world for women to wake up and realize we could be all these things. We could be the nurturers, the caretakers. We could be the fixers, the problem solvers. We could pour into our community. But there's a step that we're missing. And all that we're doing for our community, for all these external things, we have to first do them for ourselves. We have to show up with that same intensive, or that same ferocious intensity that we show up for everyone else. Right. We have to be that for ourselves first. Because then you're just kind of really being a hypocrite. Mic
drop. If I had a mic, I would just drop it twice.
I'm gonna hold your hand as I say
I love that. Listen, clock it. I'm just trying. You know what? So now here's this next question. Boundaries can feel especially hard for women leaders, right? So what boundaries was the hardest for you to set, and what changes and what changed once you did? Because there's so many different aspects. You do have to hold some boundaries so you're not being a hypocrite.
Yeah. First, no is a complete answer.
Ooh. Okay.
A soft no helps you give a big yes to the mission. Right?
That's right.
You have to protect your time. You have to protect your input. What are you spending your time consuming? Right? So you have to protect that. That's a boundary. That's a big boundary. And let me just say the hardest boundary for me, and ironically, I posted on Facebook that I won an argument with myself. Ooh, and that argument was that I was sitting playing Candy Crush. And I was thinking, we're going to do this for dinner. And then I have a scholarship committee meeting later with, my sorority, and just kind of going through my head, but playing Candy Crush, sitting on the bed. I had just got home from work, got my jammies on.
Right.
For the women in the room, took my bra off. You already know what happens when you take your bra off, it's on and popping, right? That's me time. So how do I put myself first? I take my bra off when I come home. That's me time, right?
That's perfect. You named it.
And I was playing Candy Crush, and that little voice all of a sudden said, Really? This is what you're doing? You play Candy Crush? You could be writing a script. You could be working on this. You could be working on that. You could be doing this, that, and the third. And I literally was arguing with myself. Every time my brain said, you could be writing a script right now. Yep, I could be. But I'm going to do this right now. You could be, reading over your notes for the scholarship committee meeting. I could be, but why?
Uh-huh.
I wrote the notes. I know what they are.
Right,
I
right.
have it. So no. So I won the argument and I kept playing Candy Crush. How beautiful is
As you
that?
should, because that was
So
what you needed.
that was what I needed at
But you
that
know,
moment.
that's it resonates with me because sometimes it's first off what you're talking about the process of retraining your brain. You're
Yes.
retraining yourself to say, hey, I know that these things are going on, but I made space for these things. I need to make space for myself. And I'm starting to do that for myself.
Absolutely.
Hey, I need to lay down and do X, Y, and Z, but you can do this, and this, but that's okay. I make space for that.
Yeah.
I prioritize that when I need to prioritize that. So this actually goes to the next question.
So let me just
How,
let me
yeah,
answer
go
your
ahead.
question though, because I don't think I answered it. And I want to be
Mm,
very honest that I too struggle, right? I too struggle.
mm,
I'm a wellness consultant and I struggle to turn my brain off. So the hardest boundary for me was the intellectual boundary, specifically
oh,
turning off my problem solving mode, turning
mm,
off the fixer. You have a problem, lay them at my feet. I got you, right?
right.
So that ego, I had to turn
Ooh,
it off. I had to get that ego in check. As
talk
women
about it.
leaders, we are often socialized to be the fixers, right? So the
Right.
change came when I applied the learn pillar of my framework to myself, and I had to relearn, to your point,
Hmm.
I
Talk a
realized that,
little bit about that ego, though. You
yeah,
nailed
so
something with that ego
yeah,
because most
because I
people don't know
realized that
that.
by stepping in to fix everything, I was actually robbing people of the opportunity to have their own evolution and develop their own competency, right? So my
Mm,
goal was like, I got you. I know it. I got you. I could fix you. No, absolutely not. Absolutely
mm.
not. So once I set the boundary that I am a guide rather than a savior, hmm, whew, the
Because we
dynamic
are
changed.
trained. We are trained to be
Yes.
this savior, like not on
Yes.
purpose, but for survival. It's not a I want to be a savior, and I don't want anybody to take from that. It
Right.
is we are trained, like you said, to fill in the gap
We're the
because that's
fixers.
just we're the fixers. But nobody hears it that way of you have to check your ego and see where's it coming from? What place is it coming from?
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, my
Wow.
stress levels went down. The organizational capacity went up. Like I could see my team really like, wow, they had it in them all along, but I was
Hmm.
stifling their voice and I was stifling their creativity because I was like, oh,
Wow.
you got a problem? Here's the fix. Here's the fix. No. So I allowed others to step into their own power. And that
Mm,
to me was when I really became a leader, when I really
wow.
became a mentor, when I put my ego
Mm.
aside.
So not only are you cultivating other people under you in your leadership, right? By letting them explore, letting them grow, but you're also saving and really caring for your wellness
Yes,
by releasing it.
absolutely.
So my next question to you is how do you navigate the guilt that sometimes
Mm,
comes with choosing rest, saying no, or, stepping back?
yeah.
Because there's a part of you that feels guilty because there has to be. There's other people that have to learn by trial and error, just like how we did. But
Absolutely.
oh, I could have saved them. Oh, I could have helped them. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, yeah. That's a tough one, right? Especially
Mm-hmm.
if you have a close relationship with someone that's struggling.
Mm.
But I navigate the guilt by not letting it become an emotional experience. I navigate it by anchoring myself in the data. And so let me explain what I mean by that. So my
Mm-hmm.
research shows that burnout is a systemic issue, not just a
Wow.
personal failure, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
I rest, I'm not slacking off. I'm actively combating the factors of burnout. So
Right.
the mindset shift was moving from rest is a reward for work to rest is a prerequisite for work.
Wow.
So I had to understand that flourishing requires restoration. And if I want to
Mm.
inspire my clients, my team, my audience, I must show them that rest is a strategic tool, not a weakness.
Give me an
So,
example of that. I need to know an example. What do
yeah.
you do strategically to rest? Because
Oh,
some people say I rest and they say I get my nails done, and we like that ain't no rest. Like
yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's rest for you, it might be rest for you. But there are other people that do different things. What do you strategically
I would
do?
say getting your nails done is a distraction. It
Mm.
allows you some time to distract yourself. But what I get my nails done, I'm on the phone scrolling. I'm just keeping it funky, right?
Right.
I'm not like this relaxing, resting. She's got one hand and I'm scrolling through Instagram on the other.
Mm-hmm.
I got my
Mm-hmm.
AirPods on. I'm distracted. I'm not necessarily resting. So
Mm.
how do I rest? One of the things that I do at night. So my sorority sisters, anybody that knows makes fun of me because after 8 o'clock, if we're on a committee meeting, which normally, of course, we do a lot of work at night,
Right.
I'm like this. I'm like, because by 8:30, my eyes are like, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
shade. They come down automatically. I can't help it,
Absolutely.
right? So what I've done really is I've leaned into that. And I've
Mm-hmm.
tried to really understand what my body needs throughout
Mm.
the day. And I've tried to be very responsive to whatever I'm feeling in the moment. So when
Mm-hmm.
I got home the other day, I was tired, but
Right.
I wasn't exhausted. And when I got comfortable and I took my phone out and started playing Candy Crush, that
Mm-hmm.
was a way I know that helps me get back to a neutral state.
Got it.
I'm not thinking about anything really. I'm just kind
Right.
of playing, and
There's
I'm
nothing
trying,
wrong
and I'm
with
being
that.
competitive. I love,
Yeah.
I'm being like, they got me, but it's fun for me, right? So it
Right.
brings joy. It brings low stakes
Yeah.
into my time. But more importantly, I am really focusing on deep sleep, ensuring that
Mm.
I get deep sleep, proper sleep, restful sleep.
Yeah.
Because when you sleep, there is something that happens in your brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
metabolic flush that is happening in your brain when you're in deep sleep. And that
Right.
combats Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And that
Wow.
really, right? That really is that restoration process that I talked about.
Right. Right.
So for
Wow.
me, I've always struggled to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I mean by now, I could fall asleep early,
Yeah.
but that's exhaustion. I'm talking
Mm.
about deep sleep. So I would fall asleep early and then wake up within 20 minutes, half hour, then
Right.
be up for hours, right? And then the
Yep.
brain's just going, 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 going. So I'm focusing now on training my body, training my brain to have deep sleep. And this is
Oh,
what
that's
that looks
great.
like.
It's almost like having that nighttime routine that
Yes.
sets you up.
Yeah.
So, what I'm hearing and what I'm even taking for myself, because I'm learning from you, right, is you need to do a evaluation of self. What do you need throughout the day? What do you need to shut down? And what's your body rhythm? Because I know
Yes.
for me, right, my best time that I can bust out some real good work is in the morning, all the way until probably like mid afternoon. Then I can go into my second phase and be like, okay, I can run around, I can do mom stuff, I can be present like that. But you're right, by 8 o'clock, don't call me, don't text me, don't do
I mean,
that.
you can. You're probably not going to get me though.
But you're not gonna get me because my body naturally shuts down. And what you brought up in this idea of wellness is how many women are not in tune with their bodies.
That part. And that leads to heart attacks. That leads to stroke. That leads to kidney disease, right? Like
Woo,
that leads to
that's
us
a fact.
really, our body saying, I, I don't know what else to do. I've
And
given
it's
you
it's
every
you're
sign
right.
possible and you're ignoring it. So I have something that I talk about in all
Hmm.
my and I know you were in one of my presentations, so you're gonna remember
Absolutely.
this, right?
Yes.
You're gonna remember this. If you don't take time for your wellness, you're gonna be forced to take time for your illness.
And that's
Boom.
true.
That's it.
Can I tell you? And I don't mind telling people, I remember sobbing and crying because that year, last year, when I was in your presentation and I was learning, I was like, I need to talk to her. I need to get her on this podcast. I need to because I was going through, I told you I had kidney disease because I was constantly going. But I also had a situation where it felt like I was having a heart attack, but my anxiety was going through the roof. And what really resonated was I remember my manager saying, Osea, how do you know when you're stressed? And I sat there and I said, I don't know. I didn't know my physical cues. I didn't know
Mm.
anything because I was going, going, going because that's how you're trained. And what really is sticking out to me is rest is like you said, a prerequisite.
It's required. That's why we sleep at night. Like, I mean, this is just
But
this is where I kind of like
when
we
you
are
say
missing,
it,
we're missing all the cues. We're missing all the cues.
when you say it out loud, it
Yeah.
makes sense. But when we don't practice it, and it's like, how did you, when you're in there, when I'm sitting up here at Highland Hospital and the doctors are like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. How
Yeah.
did I not know?
Right.
Oh,
Well, and so I don't want people to beat themselves up because they didn't
right.
know, but
Hmm.
now you do. And so what are you doing different? Right. And if you don't know, but you're hearing this podcast, now you
Right.
do know.
Right.
So
So what do you
that
do?
evolution has to start, right? We have to really think about um, longevity. We have to think about our
Yes.
legacy. So I want to be here for another 50 years. I'm 53. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 103, but
Right.
I want to be here as long as I can.
And
And I
that
want to live
legacy.
abundantly. I don't just want to be here. I want to thrive. I want to laugh. I want to have joy. I want to really make sure that I release the guilt, right? By reminding myself that a rested leader is a rational leader, whereas
Ooh.
an exhausted leader is a reactive one, right? So
Right.
I cannot be at my optimal, I can't performance. I cannot be at my best when I don't put myself first, when I don't take
Absolutely.
care of Wanda, when I don't
Mm.
listen to the cues that my body is giving me. And
Right.
so too often we are robotic. We have been trained to just keep pushing, push, 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 push.
Hmm.
And your
Hmm.
body is saying, okay, I could do this for only, so long.
And
It's
it'll
like
teach you.
driving a car without gas. Like, how far do you think you're going to get on a full tank?
Listen, especially if you have a hoopty, because
And
you
if
ain't
you
been
got a
taking care of
hoopty,
it. You ain't been taking care of your body. It depreciates into a hoopty, and then you think you're about to drive without gas. That's
that
the
part.
best, So I put right here, in what ways has healing emotionally, spiritually, and physically shaped your leadership
Yeah. Ooh.
today?
So I heard someone say the other day, success cannot heal trauma.
Wow.
That's what I said. I was like, oh my God,
That
my
hit
God,
me.
today.
Wow.
Success
Okay.
cannot heal trauma. So we got to work on our trauma, right?
Mm,
First of all, we have to really think about how our upbringing and how our experiences have formed us, have trained us,
yes.
and has really just some extent, not everyone. If you had any traumatic experiences, how it really has put you in this box,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So healing really is a precursor to evolution, to evolving. Unhealed pain in
Mm.
leadership shows up as cynicism. I don't know if
Wow.
you've ever had a leader that is just like funky.
That's
They
me.
don't like
That was how I
anything.
was at the
They
end.
don't like anything. They don't trust
Yeah.
anyone. Everything is like, oh, here we go. Well, we got to do it, right? Who wants
Hmm.
that? Who wants that person in their team,
Absolutely.
right? So one of the key dimensions of burnout, right, is cynicism. So early in my
Mm.
career, I saw how unaddressed emotional wounds, my trauma, can make
Hmm.
a leader defensive, could make me
Oh.
it made me a micromanager, and I didn't trust my team.
Mm.
So addressing my own need for harmony, right? Specifically in the spiritual and emotional dimensions, it allowed
Yeah.
me to lead with empathy rather, again, than my ego. Because
Mm.
I was told that leaders show up and you have to have a certain presence about you, right? And
Correct.
and basically do what I say. Because that was the antiquated management style when I was coming up.
Right.
You become a leader and they just got to do what you say. And if they don't, you
Hmm.
fire them. That
That was
was the
true.
old way of leadership that some
Hmm.
still have today. So check yourself if
That's
that's
true.
you. But it really transformed me from being a leader who demands compliance to a leader who
Mm.
cultivates commitment. I want your commitment. I don't need your compliance.
Well,
I want
yeah,
your commitment, right?
because we know if it's just compliance, they're not going to give their best.
No, no.
So
And
is that a good product?
it really isn't, right? I want commitment. I want passion. I want innovation. I want creativity. I want people to have joy. I want people to have
Hmm.
joy in what they
Yeah,
do because joy fuels you, right? Joy
absolutely.
helps you show up day after day after day. So it transformed me from a leader of compliance to commitment. But when you heal, you stop projecting your past trauma onto your current team or
Listen,
current
I'm about to scream
environment.
and run around because a
Okay.
lot of people don't realize when we talk about self-care, healing, that we have to address these traumas. And what I've been going on through my spiritual journey, and then also just trying to boss up as a leader, is why am I responding the way I'm responding? Why can't I need to, you know how they say, be angry, sin not? And the sin not part is really reflecting on why you're even angry in the first place.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's not them, it's you.
A lot of times it's you. A lot of times it's us. And that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow, even for me.
It is.
But a lot of times it's us because it's our
know.
lens. It's our lens. So one of the things also that when you gain clarity,
yeah,
you know, or when you work on your trauma, when you work on really thinking about being a leader of commitment, not compliance, you gain the clarity to see the organization as it is and not through the lens of what you fear.
Do you think you become, in this, you know, being able to have self-care, especially as a woman, do you think that once, you know, you get that nice flow going, that you show up more as a visionary?
I think you
it's clarity.
A visionary. I think absolutely you're able to be a visionary and future forward thinking, because now you're looking at possibilities and opportunities versus deficits, right? Or lack of. And so that's the other beautiful thing of evolution, is that once you change your mindset, your lens changes. So it becomes clearer. It's sunny outside all the time.
Right.
And you see possibilities, you see pathways, you don't see doors shut.
And you're also healthy enough to see it. You're also healthy because we know stress and trauma creates a physical response where you can't. It's fight or flight.
Absolutely.
And now you're like, oh, this. So this goes to my last question. What practice or non-negotiables help you stay grounded during seasons of pressure, visibility, and responsibility? Because you're always on.
Yeah.
It ebbs and flows.
So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to disagree that I'm always on. And I'm going to tell you why.
Tell me why.
Tell you why. I'm not going to prescribe to that. I'm not going to tell my brain that I'm always on. I'm not going to tell my body that I'm always on, because that contradicts that harmony and that alignment, right?
Okay.
That internal alignment of I'm going to give what I have to myself first. And then what's left, I'm going to give to others. So
that's new.
I can't always be on. That's the first myth that we have to bust.
Yeah.
As a leader, you cannot be always on. If you are always on, you are creating harm. That's the reality. Okay. So I will tell you, I live by the life blueprint that I developed daily, right?
I love this.
Because if you can't use your own product, then it's no good, right? So I actively use it so I could see where the pain points are, so I could continue to tweak it, so it could be a good product for the people that I work with. So my negotiables are anchored in the 8 dimensions of wellness. So for example, for my intellectual and occupational wellness, I time block deep work where I'm unavailable to others, so I can focus without distraction, right? I need I need time blocks so I could do deep work. And I let my team know I'm going to be, you know, this is blocked out for deep work, for strategical, like high strategy time for me, right? And then and they appreciate that. And they also have the permission to do that. So so again, now I'm modeling the way as well.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yep. My physical wellness, I prioritize movement. So knowing that physical stagnation leads to mental stagnation.
Yes,
and
it does.
I'm not talking about working out. So we just say, now, if you saw my Puerto Rico reset episode,
I'll be following you.
Listen, I need a physical, what are they called? A workout partner, whatever.
You need an accountability partner.
A fitness instructor.
Look, I
don't even know the word. That's how far removed I am. That's how far removed I am from working out, right? But so I know that because I don't work out the way I should, I need to still have prioritized movement. So there are movements that you could do at your desk, that you could stretch your body. There are mindfulness techniques that you could do at your desk.
Absolutely.
It helps you gain clarity, and it helps bring you back to a neutral state.
And I love that you say that, because women are in different places in their lives. And sometimes they cannot dedicate or don't have the financial means, right, to be able to do that. But I love that you said that there's so many things that you can do that can support the work and stuff that you're doing. Because me as a mom, I can't go to the gym. I don't have anybody to watch my son. I got to do stuff at home.
Right. Right.
So I love that you said that.
And so there's so think about replacements, right? Think about substitutions. So when you go to a restaurant and you don't like tomatoes, you get something else. Or you say, hey, hold the tomatoes, right? So think about how do you customize life to you versus customizing yourself to the life around you. Because
Dr. Cooper, you can customize your own life.
Customize your own life, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, and then for my spiritual wellness, right? I start my day with the morning investment that I talk about.
Yeah.
You know, it's gratitude grounding practice that reminds me of my why before I tackle the what of the day. And throughout the day, I'm protecting my boundaries with my with understanding what I'm saying yes to. I'm protecting my yeses. What's the criteria for my yes? So that when I get home at night, I'm not like, oh, I just did. Why did I say yes? Now I'm resentful. Now I'm doing something out of resentment. And that energy, it does come out in your work, and it comes out in your actions, and it's painful. It's painful. So, you know, these are just some of the habits, you know, and there are my defense system against the chaotic nature of organizational change, whether it's at work or whether it's in my household.
Yeah. Dr. Wanda, I appreciate this so much in your time, because what this is really saying for leaders, for women, is we are called to do so many things, but we really have to take the time to do self-reflection. We really have to take the time to figure out what our boundaries are. Because what you're telling me is, and what I know other women, and this resonates, is you have to build a life that works for you, which means I have to know who I am. And it changes in different seasons, because you talked about certain seasons of learning and figuring out. But that means that just as much as we study our own organizations, just as much as we study our own key stakeholders, and we do a lot of it, to be a leader, you have to do a lot of that. That same investment has to happen in us, and it needs to be a prerequisite before we show up and do it for other people.
Absolutely.
Because if we can't do it for ourselves, then what's the point?
I know a lot of people that give great advice. I know a lot of people that give phenomenal advice, but they never take it themselves. And so they don't have any credibility in my book.
And I'm gonna tell you, you got credibility, because when I be seeing you, you listen. You be like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I spend time with my family. I show up and I do that, and you're always so joyful. But you're joyful because your cup is not empty.
I'm joyful because I'm doing what makes me happy, and I'm not allowing for anyone to define what that looks like for me.
Wow. And we were trained, they told us what our happiness was. And you said, I'm sorry.
That part. And it took me a long time.
For sure.
It took me a long time to be like, wait, what? I don't have to do that? I don't have to be that person?
Right.
Wait, I have agency over my own life? I am the CEO. I want to be a CEO somewhere else. I'm the CEO of my life.
Can we start here first?
Organization. This is my organization. So I have to make sure that my standard operating procedures are on point.
Wow.
I have to make sure that my bills are paid. My energy bill is paid. My light bill is paid.
Come on.
Right? My RG&E, my heart is paid. I have to make sure that all these bills that I'm accumulating in my organization are paid to date.
Wow.
Because then I could go out and say, my organization is good. Let me help you with yours.
Dr. Cooper, this has been, can you please tell everybody, what is your podcast? Tell everybody. No, I hear this is a platform to bring on specifically women from around the world to talk about their journey in education, how they show up, more like an online mentorship, because a lot of times we work in silos. A lot of times we're still, like you said, we're still learning.
Mhm.
And the fact that your experience and your work is grounded in research, you're not just spitting it, you saying this is grounded in research. I know this works. I live this. I want people to come to your podcast. I want women to really have resources to be able to say, I can show up my best self.
Yeah.
Tell us your podcast name. Tell us everything about your podcast, please.
So I appreciate that. The easiest way to find me is drwandacooper.com.
Yeah.
DrWandaCooper.com. That's a Hamilton reference, by the way. I love doing that because I love
Yes,
Hamilton.
Hamilton is great. I knew you were spelling it out, but for those
I
that
was,
don't, because
and I was spelling it out, for Hamilton reference, but I don't want anybody writing in the word doctor and then not finding me. So,
yeah,
so in the website, you can access the podcast. It's called Life Podcast with Dr. C. Life stands for Learn, Inspire, Flourish, and Evolve. It is what I build my consultancy blueprint on, and it really takes you through learning the foundation. Learning about a topic first, then being inspired by knowing that other people have managed, right? Other people have been successful, and then going through some strategies. What are some immediate strategies that I could put into place right now to mitigate what we're talking about? And then we end with evolve, which is sustainability. How do you sustain this so that you could continue to evolve and so
that's
that you have
awesome.
long-term impact? So the idea of the podcast is very much what you're doing, like bring people from all over the world to talk about, wellness from their lens, from their level of expertise. And really it's to normalize because we have to stop normalizing exhaustion as a status of symbol, right?
Can we talk about it?
Reputation marker. Oh, I am so busy. We have to stop wearing burnout like a badge of honor, right? That proves that you're working hard. I have to prove that I'm working hard by burning myself out? No, absolutely not. So, we can start by auditing our life against, the life pillars. Learn, where is your energy going? Inspire yourself before you try to inspire others. By prioritizing your 8 dimensions of wellness, and evolve into the leader who knows that her well-being is the foundation of her empire.
That's awesome.
If you don't prioritize your harmony, your life, your organization will eventually inherit your chaos.
And that's so, guys, listen, if you tune in, I have amazing women like Dr. Cooper here every week, just giving their insight on She Leads, building a legacy in education. And Dr. Cooper, I am just so thankful. Listen, I'm going to go back and rewatch this and reevaluate what I'm doing as a leader, because that's the best way to show up is when you are whole. And I'm going to start treating myself like my own organization. You have just been such a pillar here in Rochester, and I am so happy to share your work, to share your words. So thank you so much. Tune in next time for She Leads. Please like and subscribe, hit that bell below, and I will see you for another episode.